welcome to the Big Sunday show. And yeah, joining me at this moment is Richard. How you doing, Richard?
Very good, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, all good. Been a very busy day with the family. I've had my parents over for the weekend, so it's been quite nice just to spend a bit of time with them. And yeah, just have a nice and a nice kind of relaxer, really. But gutted I missed the game today. But look, family is first, and the memories you make in those times. So yeah, Arsenal made another memory for us today, which brilliant. So yeah, we're expecting Desmond, but he's a little delayed, just like me. So yeah, let's get to it after this. So yeah, wicked performance, wasn't it? You look at it and you just think, again, I'm one of these guys where if I'm not in my routine, and my routine has been make sure I'm at every single game watching the Arsenal, and then when that time comes, obviously we look at say Thursday, and we look at the disappointment of that, and when you then suddenly are not there for the next game, and you're suddenly thinking, yeah, that disappointment. It was probably one of our lowest kind of games that we've kind of had on the whole. But then you're suddenly thinking, oh, I'm not there. I hope it isn't a sign of, it's just one of those where you just suddenly think, I mean, it's always that kind of thing, isn't it? Where you kind of always do so. What was superstitions and stuff like that, and you have those little kind of things in your mind where you just do things the same, and then yeah, when it doesn't happen, you suddenly think, oh no, is this going to happen? But thankfully, we done really well, didn't we? And yeah, really good stuff. What did you think of the game, Richard? 4-1 against Palace.
Well, I think it sort of doesn't really tell the story of the game because Palace weren't bad. They actually defensively they were poor, but they were they had chances. I mean, they had the chance before we scored. They and they had a couple of others, so they were, and it wasn't as if we totally dominated it, but it was still easy. They came out and fought. It was just superior quality, and defensively, why they're watching the ball and not their runners from all the goals, I'm not too sure what's happening. I'm sure they would have been prepared before the game to pick up runners and bits and pieces, but got to the game and and you're standing there watching a ball being passed about and not picking up runners off your shoulders. But I mean, we'll get onto it in a bit, but Xhaka's goal. Oh, that's a thing of beauty from a team perspective.
Yeah, well, we will speak about him because yeah, he's obviously had. Well, I think he had two good games. Obviously, two goals in two games, and again, the guy just is an ever present, just an animal. Just you know what I mean. There was one moment in that game today where he got knocked, and I thought it could have been quite bad. And knowing our luck, how we've been with injuries, ever since Ten Hag said that we hadn't got any injuries, all of a sudden we're picking up.
He had his voodoo doll out.
Yeah, you just look at it and you just think, oh, it's just like everything seems to be kind of going against us. And look, we'll go into that the game on Thursday. First of all, in all honesty, we may as well,
Yeah, it needs to
because
be looked at. So,
yeah, and you look at how we started with the team that was given, and yeah, there does need to be that little rotation. So I don't think we discredited Sporting again. I think we just needed to get players playing and doing it. I just thought, I don't know what you thought about how we started the game. It wasn't great because of the two early setbacks with Tommy
yeah, I
Asu
think
and
that threw us.
yeah,
I mean, you've gone pretty strong in that in that game, and you lose. You back up, right back, left back, in, from from an extended knee, and that looks like that's probably going to be season ending. I don't if it, depending on that how serious it is, and then you lose you you your centre back, one of your best centre backs this season. It's between him and Gabriel, and you lose him to a knock on the back, and it's a back muscle. He's probably not going to be out for long, but with a big game coming up against Palace on, it was always going to be a worry. And then it also means you've had to use two of your three windows to make subs. What? How do you make your subs? When do you make your next lot of subs and all those sort of things? It changes your game plan completely.
yeah, 100%. It's it obviously it does throw obviously the whole kind of tactics side of things as well, and yeah, those kind of attacking changes. Again, players played too many minutes of what was expected. Obviously, having the extra time and everything like that.
Yeah,
It's again, it weren't great for them on that side, but I just thought energy wise, as in the tempo,
yeah.
we weren't where we needed to be. And yeah, it don't take a rocket scientist to work that one out, but um, yeah, it was just a little bit laboured. But as I say, the team itself was decent enough, and look, you had to make the changes. It was very surprising that Jesus had started. I do believe that. Um, I always thought that he was going to be kind of getting these minutes um, starting from the bench. So we'd have, yeah, like he had 15 or sorry, 20 minutes the first game. He'd had maybe say 25, 30 for the second game, and then you're just building all the way up to Leeds, going up to Liverpool. But to get 45 minutes out of him was quite good, actually. To be fair, he looked bright, but as I say, there were a couple of chances, weren't there, for him?
Yeah,
Um,
and maybe a match fit Jesus would have taken one of those chances. But you've got to get minutes into his legs because you know you've got that running to, and you're going to want to get him as up to speed for those big games. The Anfield, the for the City games, and sort of just get yourself into a position where you can change those front three around.
yeah, no, it's. Oh, I look at also the midfield as well, and I know there's been quite a bit of bashing on Fabio Vieira,
I
and
didn't think he had that bad a game. I think you he progresses the ball well. Yeah, he's going to lose duels. I mean, he's like a twig. Yeah, but he was, if he lost it, he got back up. He tried to win it back. I mean, and he did. Uh, and what do you expect from a player that he came into the team late because of an injury, and his minutes haven't been. He's only been playing in the Europa League, really. He's had a few minutes recently and uh, coming on as a sub, but where you're going to get form and consistency when you're like that? It's really hard.
Yeah, I'd say we knew that he was going to have a problem. Well, not so much problem, but obviously coming to a new country, you're coming into a physical league, but as a probably a non-physical player, at his current state of play, that's where he is. He hasn't got the physicality side of things, and that isn't natural either. So yeah, there's certain things that you do look at him and you think it does really well, but then yeah, sometimes it just goes a little bit, and you could probably label this a similar kind of thing to Sambi and the way people were kind of addressing Sambi, where he'd be a body, but then you wouldn't really see him really in those kind of areas where he needs to be, and play gets passed around him or whatever. Um, not the same kind of player, but as I say, that kind of thing, you don't get that real kind of status when he's there. You don't really see him a lot like a party or something like that, where it doesn't matter where he is. He always seems to be affecting the ball or being around the ball. So that'd be my only concern in the midfield. But look, if this guy does can't get in and get in game time, then he's never going to get it. With Smith Rowe not being ready, Odegaard needs to be cuddled a little bit, because look, he's had a lot of minutes, and look, for him to keep putting in these good performances in the league, he does need to be rested, doesn't he? At times, but look, that game itself, obviously we got ahead, didn't we, Xhaka?
Yeah,
And yeah, Martinelli run through, didn't he? And he had the shot, at the keeper. The keeper makes a good save, and then the rebound, and Xhaka just reacts quicker and just strikes the ball into the corner, and it was nice. I really like that, and I think if there's anyone deserving a goal, probably over the last few weeks, it probably was him, because yeah, look, the work rate, the whole kind of way he is around the team. Look, he's come in and he's done it. What did you think after that goal, and you suddenly saw?
I think we relaxed. And actually, it it seemed as if we thought the job was done, and we were then just going to go on and take the game at our leisure, and that complacency cost us.
Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes on, and we score that goal, and you're then suddenly thinking, well, yeah, that's gonna spur us on. But it was like we were almost. I think I said it to one of the guys on my row. I just said it's almost like we're just doing enough to coast through, just do enough to save for the weekend, because we know, again, I still would say that priority was today.
Yeah.
And you look at it like that, anything that happens afterwards with Europa League would be a byproduct. It'll be a second one, go as far as we can. But yeah, we
I'll
couldn't
ask you
raise
a
it.
question, Paul.
Yeah,
Was the atmosphere as flat as it seemed? It didn't seem as a fan base we were as up for it as other
I've seen this.
games.
I've seen it, and you can attribute quite a few factors there. I would say the train strike had a massive effect. I know of at least 8 or 9 people in the in about 3 or 4 rows around where I'm sitting that couldn't get to the game because of the train strikes. based in Essex. Based in Kent, and there were obviously no overgoing trains. So you look at it like that, it's a little bit tricky. So people were either trying to sell tickets. I'm sure there were lots that weren't sold, which hasn't probably helped that atmosphere. But then you also get people that don't really come to the stadium and are not say there every week to kind of have that same atmosphere. The tourists, in that's kind of we look at it on that side where you suddenly say, well, they've paid big money for a ticket or whatever, but they'd rather be on their phones, or you know what I mean. There's no real affiliation with getting behind the team. They just got the phones out constantly and trying to record the moment. It doesn't really aid that kind of proper solid atmosphere. So yeah, it was flat, but I think that was also just the way the game went, and it was it. There was no real jazz, no spark, and yeah, look, we didn't have a huge amount of time after half time, did we? Before it kind of all changed. Within 15 minutes, we're suddenly just
Yeah.
mouths open and wondering what's just happened. And yeah, look, it was a great strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great goal, but we lost the ball. And then you look at, for me, could Gabriel have affected that differently? Instead of backing off, could he have gone to the player and closed him down and forced him to pass rather than giving him that option to shoot? It's a little things. Shouldn't have been losing the ball where they lost it, but could we have dealt with that transition better? And I know people. Uh, I've seen these sort of clips of YouTube. People are Arsenal fans on YouTube go slating Ramsdale. He's supposed to be off his line and sweeping, and they're freak goals. I mean, we had one way back in the, didn't we? Was it Neymar? No, Naeem.
Neymar, no, not Neymar, no, Naeem. So yeah,
Naeem, yeah. So
Zaragoza, yeah.
over Seaman, and then Beckham one, and then you've got Rooney's from that. But they don't happen very often. And he did get back. He just couldn't get any lift in that jump to get to it. And when you're backpedaling like that, you're not going to be able to produce the spring in the league to do it. But after that, we had chances.
Yeah,
and you look at their keeper. I mean, he's made 7 saves, and several of them were pretty decent saves. The one from was it went under his legs and not onto the post.
Yeah, it's a Trossard, wasn't it?
Trossard,
That was
yeah.
an extra time.
Then he had at least two from one from a corner, strong hand to it, and then another one down to his left with a strong hand. And you're looking at that and saying, well, actually, he's probably overperformed in that game, and had one of those nights, and it's hard to take, and you think, what else could we have done better? What if you're testing the keeper, and that's probably one of the highest amounts of shots on target we've had in the season.
Yeah, it was a weird one in that second half, and so you going back to that goal, and you mentioned about Gabriel. I just think it happens so quick in that passage of play when you've got Xhaka and you've got
I think it was
Jorginho, and
Jorginho,
they're
wasn't it?
passing the ball between them. Yeah, it gets intercepted. The guy's picked up the ball. He's made one touch, two touches, five paces, and then bang. Gabriel's got no chance to actually go in and affect any play. And I've watched it, and I look at it as a defender side of things. I think it's happened so quick, and you're not going to get out to him in time to kind of affect anything. And I think that's what's made it really hard for Ramsdale is the fact that he's literally hit it so early, and it's just done. It's like two touches and it's bang, and the power it was traveling at as well, and you suddenly seeing that kind of trajectory, and but it was just everything about it. It wasn't so like a little dink chip going over. It was proper traveling, and there's no real blame on Ramsdale because, as I say, backpedaling. Can you deal with it? He tried, but again, it's very hard to judge and potentially get up and try and push that ball over when certainly when it's coming around and dropping at that pace as well. So yeah, it was one of those freak ones. We said it. It's like what on earth's just happened there? And you're suddenly thinking, yeah, we've like two little passes, and all of a sudden it's just gone bang. And it's you're talking about like under 2 seconds from when he's picked up the ball to them zip, it's gone. And yeah, we were then suddenly just like, wow. And yeah, the stadium atmosphere, what was in there at that time, just went, and it just went total flat, and everyone's just like, oh my god, what? And
Yeah, for
then
me,
yeah,
one of the things that I found infuriating was, and I thought the guy had a pretty good game, was there number 15, Ukat or whatever, but he'd been booked for a challenge in the first half,
Ugarte, yeah,
Ugarte, and he must have got into double figures, 10, 11 fouls before we got
it was a
before we
spoiler.
got his second card, and there were a couple in there that were a yellow card before we eventually saw his second yellow, and it sort of baffled me. What you're, I know you want to keep it even, but sometimes if a player gives you no other choice, you've got to do that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought
And they were quite surprisingly, they were quite physical.
they're very physical. They were very good at the transitions, and I was talking about when we've got the ball, they were on us. But then as soon as say they did win the ball, and you saw when they were playing the balls or getting the balls out wide to then trying to get the balls back inside, it was almost like we weren't close enough, but they were always turning away from us. So they were always moving the ball forward at times. And I thought technically I thought they were really good. It didn't really impress me against when I watched them against Spurs in the Champions League, apart from their home game. But they were really good. I thought as a team, and yeah, like, as I say, like you said, the Lisbon goalkeeper was decent. Yeah, made some saves when he needed to, one-on-ones. But yeah, again, our finishing,
Pointy little
our
fella, isn't
proficiency
he?
one-on-one. Yeah, that's again, it's our one-on-one kind of situation where we need to start really taking those chances when we are kind of getting on, and on the goalkeeper, we've got to be there and taking those chances. But look, it went on, didn't it? And it went on that second half, and I don't think there were really. I don't know. I think we could probably played about 9-10 minutes of injury time, and then we wouldn't have done anything. The game was a little bit stretched, and I just think it was just one of those games until it went to extra time. And extra time, we started getting those chances. And look, another day, we probably would have found ourselves with 3 goals. But look, it weren't meant to be. I think at the end of the day, when you look at it like that, and Martinelli with the penalties,
It's just one of those things. I mean, it's it's a lottery. Okay, his penalty wasn't the best, but
yeah, there were like 3 penalties that weren't
Ramsdale had
great.
got his end. Ramsdale had got his hand to an earlier one and just couldn't keep
Yeah,
it out. So on another day, he gets more of a better hand to it and keeps it out. It's one of those. It's one of those,
yeah,
and you've got to say, pat him on the back, give him a hug, and say, well done for putting your hand up and being brave enough to just step up and take responsibility. That you'll learn from it. Next time you'll be more clinical, put it right in the corner, and it won't happen very often again.
yeah. No, I say,
I mean, if you look at Saka, what's that? 3 penalties this season, three buried, and
yeah, I say with that he would be the one. If anyone knows what that feels like, certainly with that feeling, I've let the team down. I've let the fans down. That feeling, that player, that Martinelli would be thinking, like he said in his interview, I felt sad, didn't want to go to bed. I kept on thinking about it, and yeah, you look at it and you think, well, yeah, if anyone knows about that kind of pain, then it would have been Saka. And you look at how he's come back and he's developed his game and how he's grown in maturity to take those penalties. The way he's taking the penalties as well. So it's not just taking a flash in the pan, just taking one penalty. He's our penalty taker, and he's smacking them, and
yeah,
he's doing it all. He's done pretty well.
I thought a nice touch from that was the referee actually consoled. I didn't actually see it on the night because I pretty much switched off by that point because we lost. But the referee gave Martin Nelly a hug after he missed,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
quite a nice little touch and thing. So, but you're also looking at this. This isn't a third or fourth sort of rated team from Kazakhstan or anywhere. This is a Champions League team.
Yeah, yeah. And we knew it could be tough when we know whoever we get going forward will be a big test, whether or not it would have been Sporting, whether or not it had been Juventus, whether it had been Man United. 2 massive charged games against those teams at this time. We probably in the long run, you'd probably say if at the end of the season we do go on and win the title, we suddenly say, well, maybe that was a blessing. It's not always the blessing that you want because you do want to be competing, you want to be pushing for every trophy, but it may just be that blessing on that side. But I was gonna say something, yeah, about the game as well. I was having something to eat before the game, and I'd met up with my friend's wife who works at Arsenal, and she raises this question, and she goes, "Oh, who was the last penalty shootout against at the Emirates?" And I was like, "There hasn't been."
No, it was
Well,
Highbury.
sorry, I
Or was
didn't
it?
say that straight away. I said Rotherham. Or Carabao Cup or League Cup or whatever it was called back then.
Yeah.
And obviously that was at Highbury. But it was like, 13-12. Graham Stacking goal. And I was there, and that was a long night. But that was a long night on Thursday. That was mental. It was just to finish that on an 8 o'clock kickoff with penalties, and just
because all our other recent penalty shootouts have been in finals and semi-finals. Uh,
Yeah,
so we've had none at the Emirates.
it's quite surreal to watch one
Yeah.
actually at the Emirates, and you're suddenly just thinking it was one of those as well. And you saw the coin toss as well, and you're suddenly thinking it's gone into the clock end in front of the away fans, and you're suddenly thinking, oh, yeah. So one of those moments, and you just think, but yeah, I don't know. It was frustrating. I'm disappointed, but look, moments like today makes that less painful. Yeah, at the end of the day, if we go and win the league, then I don't I don't care about anything else. What happens? At the end
Yeah,
of
a
the day.
double would have been nice, but the Premier League title's got
It's
to be
not the necessity.
it's a crown jewel.
And as I say, if we add players to what we've then got in the summer, then we've got more and
It's
more.
for quality of player. You're
We're
not
adding
only
more.
are you in the Champions League, but you're Premier League champions. More players are going to look at that and say, "Ooh, Premier League champions," and in Champions League, we fancy a bit of that.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be nice. It'll be good to see what options come around because yeah, we've got a great squad at the minute, and with some real exciting prospects. And to add more players to that with added quality, I tell you what, it will be a good time. And as I say, if we sign all these guys to contracts that was still outstanding, then look, we've got a team that's going to go on for years. And as long as I think the club match the ambitions of what these players will want, then there'll be no problem with getting them signed up. And if we do that, we make sure, yeah, we make sure that we do the business and we keep investing because we can't let it slip on that side. So yeah, that was Thursday. I think. Oh, I think we can put that one to bed on that side. I'm going to
Yeah,
just dip into the live chat, Richard, for a minute
yeah,
and say hello. It was a bit of a slow start, but that was just like us tonight. So credit goes to Mikel Arteta and Kutu Brian. How are you doing? Desmond's been having some problems with his network, so he can't join us live, but he's here live and clear from Kampala. How you doing, Desmond? Lynn's in the house. Evening, Richard. Oh, Chris has made himself back again. Do you remember Chris back in the day?
yeah. I remember, Chris.
Oh, we had this same conversation. It's Richard and Paul. It's all right, Lynn. Don't worry. Yeah, both enjoyed the game though, just like you. Yeah, Desmond. I think the mentality the team wasn't into the Europa League, which one can argue isn't good. Sometimes you need to know your strength. It was going to be hard to go for two trophies. Yeah, I think, as I say, the the scheduling of the games, I reckon, could have been a lot worse. They could have been sandwiched in between, say, the Chelsea at home or the Man City away, rather than West Ham and Brighton at home. So there's little bits on that, but again, you have to what is our priority. There's always going to be that priority one, priority two, and the league, the
And
bread and butter is always going to be priority one. There's no getting away from it.
and as we said, the silver lining is the fact that if you look at the draw, we would have had Juventus and Man United uh, as or Sevilla as our next two possible things. And you can't go. You can't go. You have to go full strength in those, and then you're looking at playing as making changes for the league games, which puts our league title challenge in jeopardy. So even though it's disappointing, and we would have loved the Europa League trophy because we haven't got many European trophies, it's a blessing in disguise. We've now got plenty of time in between league games to rest, to recuperate, and to concentrate on the next opponent.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely. It's what we just got to just go now. We've got 10 games now, 10 cup finals. We approach them as we've always done. John the Gooner, happy Mother's Day, Simon Jordan. I missed the joke. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the chat and around the world in the Gooner sphere. And yeah, I hope everyone has had a really good day. Obviously, I know some are not fortunate to be having it full with joy still. But as I say, yeah, hope you've celebrated the women in your life, the most important things on the planet. Emerson is in the house. Good point, Paul, on the Sporting Lisbon goal, and the keeper kept them in the game. Yeah, it was. Yeah, right moments. Like he got it right, didn't he? It just made himself big, and
as I said, he was a bit pugnacious as well. He sort of like what and Xhaka and you're getting him involved in little it's sort of something I would do when I was playing. I love winding the opposition forwards up and getting in there under, and it works sometimes, and in other times it backfires on you. But this time it worked for him, so hats off to him.
Yeah, it's one of those where there's always that kind of thing, and at the end of the day, if you're getting under the skin of people, it's going to make them more. It's what I've been having with my football team this morning. Don't lose the bat when you're ahead. Don't lose the bat when you're ahead, and stay in the game. And I think that's sometimes that happened. And yeah, you're always going to have those things, and you're going to get frustrated. Look at those games we've had at home where we've been frustrated with time wasting and stuff. And yeah, you just have to deal with it and manage it, and just don't just lose your heads, because you ain't going to achieve nothing. You're not going to be able to do what you need to do. So yeah, Lynn, I thought to get 4 goals against Crystal Palace this afternoon was a really good performance, especially after last week, when Man City could only get a penalty against them, and there's now only a 2-goal difference. Yeah, I think I said last week in a show I was on, and I said they've rarely been battered this season. I think they've only had I think Tottenham has more than.
They've only had one game where they in the last 13 where they had a full goal plus scored against them. So that tells you how. In that they've had 7 games where they've lost by one goal. So it shows you that they're pretty resilient defensively. It's just, and if you look at the run of games they've had,
it's just been scoring goals, isn't it, for them?
And now what they've got. Yeah, well, I think they played Brighton twice, Man City twice.
Yeah,
in that period,
it's crazy. You look at it and you think, well, yeah, only from that start of season. Yeah, you do look at it. I'm just looking at their fixtures, and you are looking at it. And apart from early in the season, you're suddenly thinking, okay, yeah, fair enough. They've had a couple of results gone their way. They got a man sent off against Fulham, and lost 3-0 at home. But then after that, yeah, lost to Tottenham 4-0. So that was a Tonkin. But then, yeah, lost to Chelsea 1-0. Drew with Man United, you know what I mean? Drew with Newcastle,
Yeah.
Brighton, lost to Man United 2-1. It's like it, yeah, I mean 0-0 against Liverpool. Brentford 1-1. Lost to Villa with Man sent off 1-0. Man City 1-0. Brighton 1-0. And I think it probably is good actually also just to touch on Vieira going as well. Going into obviously today's game. And you look at what Parish would have probably thought he was going to achieve by getting rid of Vieira, as say there's going to be a change in their form, and to see them get battered the way they did here on a hiding again, you're suddenly thinking, really, what have you achieved? Because Vieira would have been there again as another project. And you're suddenly thinking, yeah, all right, you might say on the other hand, well, we need survival. We need to stay in the Premier League for that to work. But then you're suddenly saying, well, don't tell me that it would be any different or any better for you to get rid of, say, Patrick Vieira, but then bring in Roy Hodgson. 75, that's what the talk is with that 75-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's favourite, isn't he?
75-year-old Roy
Yeah.
Hodgson. You're suddenly thinking, well, he is not going to be long term, is he? And it's like, well,
No.
you're going, I don't know. It's really weird. Yeah,
Well,
right.
I've got a question, Paul.
Yeah, go
on. I can't remember Palace having a transfer or many transfers in the summer. They lost Gallagher back to Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they didn't really get anyone in to replace him, or I'm not sure they had many transfers in the summer, and then they bought Lokonga in on loan in January, and I don't know if I think they had one more in January on loan. So he hasn't been backed.
Yeah, you look at it. It was a real important player last season for him, and obviously that raised his stake really, because yeah, he did play well. But yeah, look, they signed Doucouré, didn't they?
Was it Doucouré they signed? Yeah. So,
but as a defensive midfielder to provide some proper cover, obviously they took Sambi on later on in the season. But when you look at it, apart from that,
yeah.
a
See,
centre back.
I
They
think
signed that. Didn't they sign? Who did they sign? It was the
was it
Bayern
Elise?
Munich.
Was it did they sign Elise from Reading?
No,
Or was that last season?
they signed a centre back from Bayern Munich.
And he's been injured, hasn't he, most of the season?
Is it Richard? About 12 million or something like. Chat might be able to help me out, but someone like that. I don't know if he was English playing for Bayern Munich, but they signed him. I'm pretty certain. So you look at it like that. Has he been really backed? I would probably say no. Although
Chris
Richards, okay, yeah. Oh, is he English? Well, I'm not thinking about it. Maybe American. Yeah, maybe American.
Well, let's have a look. Do a quick.
But I still think they've still spent some money. And we'll talk about maybe he hasn't been back, but then you suddenly look at, I think the Doucouré was probably about over 18 million. And then with this guy, that would be another, say, 10 million or so. Chuck in any others, 40, 45 million. Is that enough for a team like Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I think it's one of the lowest spends of in the league, and I think Parish panicked because he's looked at the points difference between top and bottom, between where they are and bottom, and it's only 4 points.
9 teams. That's
Yeah.
mental. It's absolutely
Now
crazy.
he could have looked at it and said, "Well, yeah, there is a possibility there, but we have a number of teams in between us and 18th. So we've got to do worse than those 6 or 7 teams below us to go down, and not done anything." But he's gone, no, and I get rid of Vieira. I deflect away some of the attention from my lack of investment, and I might get when I get a new manager in, I might get a little bit of a lift from the players, and it will drag us away from those that relegation battle.
Yeah, I just look at it. I just think it just seems. Yeah, I mean they could go down, and they've got rid of a manager that I don't think has done all that bad. And you look at it,
No.
you replace him with again just another journeyman who's. And this is what I find annoying about the whole kind of football world is that a manager that can fail with one club or 2 clubs or 3 clubs can just walk into another job somewhere else and just totally wipe the slate clean. Any other industry, it would be, you know what I mean? You keep getting sacked from your jobs, and you'll be like, oh god, I'm not gonna take you on. I'm going to go and get someone else in. I'm going to get some fresh kind of ideas in, fresh manager. And I look at it like that. This was the big game. This was the tough game, and then you've then got 4, 5 games. Well, certainly the next 4 games where they're playing against teams that are in that last 9.
And you'd expect them to pick up
You're
points
thinking,
against
yeah,
those
1 win or 2 wins out of that, you're suddenly thinking you're mid-table, and you're suddenly thinking, well, it ain't all doom and
but you're
gloom.
you're only 5 points from normal years a safety,
Yeah,
aren't you?
it's absolute madness. It's absolute madness. But this is football now, and there's no loyalty whatsoever. And as I say again, there's no common sense, I think, in it on that side. So, yeah, sorry to see you go, Mr. Vieira.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
always
yeah, I don't think it helped that his win percentage was
yeah.
quite low, and he had more losses
This year's not been
than
favourable.
draws and
It's
wins,
not been favourable this
which
year.
doesn't help.
But we know it's a different
But he improved them. I mean, you look at what Hodgson did for him. He kept them up year on year and year, and kept them just above. And Vieira came in last season. He got them playing a different way,
Yeah.
and he got them up to 12. Where are they sitting currently? 12.
Yeah.
So he's done no worse than last season. It's just that he's had a tough run. Players haven't been on form, and could he have turned it round? And I think he could have been given next 3 games against the teams you're expecting to pick up results. And if he's still not picking up results, then you say, fair enough, I've got to let you go.
Yeah.
I think he's been a little bit early.
Yeah, that's it. He jumped the gun. They've real panicked. But yeah, no, sorry to see you go, Patty. But yeah, I'm sure you'll get another job somewhere else where you can actually be respected. I think for I don't know, a proper project. But look, yeah, that bounce didn't happen. So there you go. Just confirming, Richards was American. Thank you, Eric Emerson. So so that was all good. What next? What next? Oh God, John the Gooner. God, what are you doing? Like I said, Europa's a Mickey Mouse Cup. It's all about the Premier League. Not a Mickey Mouse Cup.
It's a decent trophy.
It's not a Mickey Mouse Cup, John. It's not a Mickey Mouse trophy. Come on, John.
John, would you rather Europa League trophy or League Cup trophy?
Or the Audi.
I know which
Would you
one
like an Audi
I'd
Cup?
rather pick
Would
up.
you like an Audi Cup or a
Or an FA Johnson's trophy.
Yeah. 9 straight derby wins, record breakers. Look, as I say, it's been nice. It's nice to see us on top of that kind of the little table that Sky normally do about the London derbies, and we forget how important it is as well when you picture.
And the other point on that is, the other point with that is we've not lost a London derby. It's 28 out of the possible 30 points in London derbies. So
yeah, but yeah, it's one of those you look at it how important these games are, and you know what I mean. Man United or Liverpool don't have to worry about that. Look, we've got 12 derbies we play a season, and well, I think that's how it works. And now I know it was obviously when we did actually have a lot.
We got West Ham and Chelsea left, haven't we?
So you look at it like that, it's a lot of tough games on that side because they're all vying to beat us because they don't want to hear us doing better. So look, it's always hard being a London club. So John the Gooners, the evening chat room. Lynn has said in the Europa League, the only criticism I have is that Arteta shouldn't have played Vieira purely because he played for Sporting. So he was a marked man, and so Odegaard should have started. He didn't play for Sporting, did he, Vieira?
It was the other one, wasn't it?
Porto. He was a Porto player. So yeah, maybe the rivalry.
Yeah, it is a
rivalry. But as I say, look, if he can't play in any game like that, then again he's got to get this game time, isn't he? And you're going to have times. You're going to have times where it goes like that. You know, it's one of those. And they were really good. They were really good at the pressing. They were really good at just kind of stopping us play when we needed to play. But yeah, if we had a Smith Rowe, would potentially have played in the middle.
Would he have played instead of Xhaka? That's the question, and that's a whole new dynamic as well.
We know the answer to that, don't we?
Yeah,
he won't be Vieira. Vieira or anyone or who will come in won't be going ahead of Xhaka at the minute. I look at his performances are too high level in this team to be replaced at this current time. In the current squad, I look at it like that until someone comes in that is, say, an unbelievably good, talented midfielder. I can't see anyone taking him out of that team because he just brings so much to it, from physicality to the whole balance in that midfield. And saw today, and we talked about that game. Sorry, the goal to just have a 1-2 box and then carry on the run, and then have the determination to poke in and get it sorted. So yeah, because again it's that, but
no,
it's one of those where you look at it, he's massively important to Arsenal. You can't get around that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But he's got to improve, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to improve together,
Yes,
and the only way he'll improve through chemistry with the team is by getting played.
yeah. I'm just trying to see. I
Are you
believe.
multitasking?
Yeah, I believe he's. I believe it was when he was with Black. He scored 5 goals in the season in the league. So he's not far off that. In the It's his best scoring season for us. So in
I
the
said at the
league.
start
So
of the
that's
season, I wanted to see him get double figures, 10 goals.
well. He's what 4 goals, three assists. So
Yeah,
he's not far off double goal contributions.
yeah, perfect.
And
He's done well, and
mm,
yeah, well, just a machine though. Tired Gunnosaurus is in the house. Guys, why can't Holding just stay back? Why does he have to try and tackle high up when he knows he can't recover with his pace? What's your thoughts, Richard? What did you think about? Well, I know you haven't fully seen the game, but
I think I think he thinks in the foot race I'm going to be beaten if I can get the ball, win it back and into and get it before they run at me. I'm better off, and it's a risk. It's a risk, but it didn't do too bad. It didn't come off too badly for him today. I mean, it it's one of those where you've got to say maybe it's something him and the manager Arteta talked about and said you're better off trying to get in front of a player and win it back rather than allowing them to run at you and or turn you. But today it worked. Another day it might not. But all we care about is today. And I think he had a solid enough performance today. It was, it, and that's all you can ask for a player that's not a guaranteed starter, a decent backup centre back that's going to come in when needed and do a job when needed.
yeah, no, I thought he had a decent game, and when he come on, even on Thursday, I thought he was decent, and what I describe him as, he's a part of a dying breed, and I'm talking of a proper defender. Whereas he will dive, he will fly at the ball, he will make tackles, he'll be physical, and I think, and this goes back even to the Etihad when he was up against Haaland, and that physical presence and that physical battle that he likes, he enjoys. And the only time he's let us down was at that game at White Hart Lane last season, where he lost his head and got involved with Son, and that was it. Rest is history. But he is an intelligent player.
I mean, and in that match, Son should have gone.
Oh yeah, well that's
But,
that if somewhat.
but it's semantics, isn't it? I mean, what I'd like to see from him, and we haven't seen from him, is can he do that 4, 5, 6 games on the trot? He'll come in, have 2 or 3 good games, and then he has a howler. But
remember, there was a time when Holding
hopefully,
came in, and he did have a long run in the defence, and he formed a quite a good partnership. I can't remember if it was Gabriel he played with, but I'm sure they had quite a few clean sheets in that little run. So I wouldn't class him as a bad defender. I wouldn't class him as really slow. I think he gets back quite well.
Let's think of it. He's only what did he cost us? 2 million?
It's
It wasn't much,
minimal.
was it?
It's
So for what we paid for him, he's been pretty decent for us.
I just think because it was like today, he was given the task of dealing with Edouard, and obviously Edouard was taking up little slightly deeper positions on the channel. So he was always trying to meet that ball. So as soon as that ball come up, he's trying to then get in quick to go and meet the ball to try and deal with it. A couple of times, Edouard's kind of given him a little nudge or a little push, and he's come through over the player and missed it. Early on, he almost got caught, but he went in for a tackle. He caught the player, but the ball ricocheted out to Zaha, and that's when they had their first kind of real chance on goal. But as opposed to kind of dealing with any other kind of balls coming in and blocks and tackles, I thought he had a really good game. Interceptions, I thought he'd done really well. So yeah, I don't think he's just a household name. It's not a fashionable name, and it's not he's not a Rolls Royce like Saliba, or he's, you know what I mean. It's one of those. It's just boring old.
And he might need to go back to Turkey to sort that hair.
Yeah, well, look at his hair now. He's like the most European looking man from Bolton. Or he's not from Bolton, but obviously he was. He played for Bolton, didn't he? I think that's where he's born.
Yeah, was it Charlton? Charlton, I think it was, wasn't it?
No, he signed from Bolton.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know where he's born, but yeah, he's got one hell of a set of hair now. Unbelievable transformation. Oh dear, Emerson. Yep, there's never been a penalty shootout at the Emirates. You're right. Now the last penalty shootout was a Highbury, Rotherham United. Yep, 2003, 2004. Yeah, 13-12. That penalty shootout. That was going on and on. Oh dear, football. Eh?
Yeah, that would be a quiz question.
Yeah, Graham Stack was the goalkeeper then, and yeah. Oh dear, those times. Where did that time go? Tide Gunnosaurus question: do you think at the Etihad we should play for a draw, or is that too risky?
You never play for a draw. Yeah. You play for a draw, you risk losing. You go for the win, and you've got 10, 15 minutes left. Then you look at, well, we're not winning this. Let's not lose it. But you don't set out from the start. You go for the win, and then in the final little bit, you say, let's take what we've got. And
yeah, I think there's a different mentality now with Arsenal, and you look at it. There's more about us to just kind of say, yeah, we're just going to go there and be also Rans or whatever. We're going to try and stick and do it. We've shown by the FA Cup game, we've shown in the league game in stages that we can be forceful on the game. And I'm talking with possession, I'm talking with chances. And if we've got a full squad that we can go there to play as our first 11, we will give them a real go. And they will be nervous as well. Don't forget, I don't think they'll be polished. I think they're kind of purring into some kind of good stage of this season with the goals that they're scoring and whatever. But look, that game is going to be real touchy, I think, for both teams. So,
and if you think if we go into that game 8 points ahead, they're under real pressure.
That's what I said. If they end up drawing against Liverpool when we come back and then we beat Leeds, then you look at that. Even just say 10 points. You say that going into that stage, and then if we can make sure we drop no points until we get to Anfield, it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, you see, they've got the FA Cup on the 22nd, and then they play us on the 26th. That's a 4-day turnaround. That's not much of a turnaround, is it?
No, that's it. And like as I say, Brighton.
That's after playing Bayern on the 19th.
Yeah, so it's going to be a real interesting month, I think, for both teams. And everyone talking about the big games that Arsenal have got. City have got some big games as well,
Yeah,
and yeah, going away to Brighton still isn't going to be easy. That's going to be rearranged towards the end of the season because of the semi-final. Um, you chuck in those games against Bayern Munich, it's going to really kind of cause some issues. Southampton away again after the Liverpool game. There is potential they may rotate.
especially
Bearing in mind it's
they've
only
got
3 days
Bayern as well
before.
coming up.
Yeah, the 3 days before the quarterfinal first leg against Bayern. So you look at it, Leicester at home. You can never say, well, Leicester are a bit of a funny team. You don't know what team could come out, but that's sandwiched in between Bayern. And you look at it and you just think there are places to drop points. Fulham away, Everton away, teams that are scrapping. Chelsea at home, second from last game of the season, and that's with finishing off with Brentford. You just look at it, and there are games for both teams. And
Especially if you consider what the results Everton and Southampton have just got this
yeah,
weekend.
yeah. Well, say we could you potentially could see us dropping points in 3 games, and you could say even if we drop points on those three away games that we've got, which are look tough, we could still see ourselves being in that right area still. So yeah, oh mate, this next month is going to be, it's going to fly as well. I don't know. It's going to feel like it's fly, but it's going to feel like about 2 years. It's going to, you know what I mean? It's going to go on, and we will be a bag of nerves, fans. I think
Mm.
once we get going and once we get, and yeah, we can get that first game out of the way, then I think that will be really good. But yeah, that Liverpool game at lunchtime on that Saturday is going to be massive.
Yeah,
So yeah, let's have a look. Anything else in the chat? There obviously is loads.
yeah,
Yeah, Lynn just said about about Holding. Yeah, he's only played about an hour of football, but as I say, yeah, you can only get better by
yeah,
getting those game time, and then once you're properly match fit, it'll become second nature again, and you start polishing off those performances even more. So yeah, if he's doing it now, then yeah, great. If he's got to play 4 or 5 games, then yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be strong enough to help achieve what we need to achieve. But hopefully, we have a full squad going into those big games, starting at Anfield. Tired Gunnosaurus says, yeah, question. We've been really sloppy recently in set pieces. Why do you think this is? It's hard, isn't it? You look at it,
yeah. I
sloppy.
mean,
It's football.
sometimes it's concentration.
It's concentration. It's football, isn't it? In the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's
and sometimes you got to take your hat off to your opponent and say that's a well worked set piece.
yeah.
I mean,
Look, we score from them, but again, it shows that set pieces are very very important. And yeah, it's we've scored lots of goals, and we went for a stage of not really conceding anything from corners or free kicks or whatever. But as I say, it's again they're so random. It's I don't think there is an answer. I don't think there's any. It's not like we're always making defensive errors. There are some well worked stuff, but yeah, doesn't help sometimes with yeah, certainly that one in the first leg against Sporting, but not all like that. So no, you don't want to go say oh it's a set piece coach because again look he's doing wonders on the other side, but
yeah,
look we've got
we're
to
we're joint best scorers from set pieces under him. So 12 this season. I think Tottenham are 12 and Fulham are up there as well. So you've got to take the good and bad. Yeah, and sometimes we've been defensively solid on set pieces.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have to say I don't. Just like the goal today, I don't really. I'm not really bothered. Yeah, clean sheet or not. I mean, I want 3 points. I really could not care less if we got a clean sheet or we concede 1 or 2. As long as we've scored 3, 4, 5, or 6, I don't. Yeah, I don't mind.
Points are
At this
more
stage,
important this time of season. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Um, yeah, Chris Parrish sacked Vieira thinking he may throw the game away against us today. Yeah, yeah, I think that's very naive if that's what he actually thought, because yeah, he thinks about that. That's just crazy. Yeah, shouldn't be in football if that's the case. I think there's professional agencies, and I think he should know Vieira by now that
Vieira's a winner. He wouldn't throw
he's not going to.
a
He's already
game.
well. You've got
He wants he don't care who it is against. He wants to win, and that's he like Arteta. He doesn't want to lose a game. He'd rather win every single one, but he knows that's not feasible. So, but it doesn't mean he doesn't likes it any less when
yeah, yeah, it's horrible. I just don't agree with it. Let's have a look. John. No, I disagree. Mickey Mouse Cup. I mean, get on with the real job in hand. Oh dear, yeah, that's all right, John. All right, we'll let you have your Mickey Mouse Cup. I hope we don't win that Audi Cup ever, because I'm not sure what you'll be describing that one as.
Oh, the Johnson's paint trophy.
Alex is in the house, even in all.
Evening, Alex.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Yeah. Tired. Anyone know what Saliba's injury is?
It's a muscle, back muscle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the extent of it. From what I understand, it is that they didn't play him today because playing him today would have meant he'd been able to go with a French squad. By not playing him, and he's not going with a French squad, and he's got that 10 days to recover, and they're hoping that he'll be fully fit for the Leeds, though it's more likely to be they might not risk him for Leeds and just wait to the Anfield game, but we'll see. Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah. I know. He got, I think he did just get a bang in there rather than a muscle. So I'm hoping that he's, because we go back to that physical battle again, and when we look at it, and he was quite physical again, with him. So he was always getting involved, and it was just one of those where it was just, yeah, he's obviously either stretched or he's twisted, and it's it's no good. Tommy, on the other hand, though, obviously, when I was just like watching the physio when obviously play had stopped, and it was quite telling where they were like doing it. I've heard people say it was his ankle. I've heard people say it's the knee or the calf. I've heard say it's the knee. What I found, it was that he was focusing on the top part of the calf going to the knee. So that
That ligament there, yeah.
area. Yeah, and you're suddenly thinking it's an upper kind of calf to knee kind of problem, and you're suddenly thinking if that is the case, then yeah, we might be saying that he's cooked for the season, where he's probably going to need a little bit of recuperation and certainly maybe potentially a bit of surgery, depending on how bad it is. But it didn't look good. He didn't look really comfortable at all when he was limping very bad. So that's always an indication if someone is really kind of struggling to walk, certainly from say something that really he went in for a challenge and it twisted. I think to start with, and then he went in for another one. It just then suddenly just then
I
went
think
down.
as he went in for the challenge, a player fell on him, fell on the
Yeah,
leg, and that's
yeah.
where the extension came from. And he's
So
overextended it, so it depends on whether he's torn it or 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 what happened. So, and we won't know until they've done more scans, and but they're pretty good. They normally, if it requires surgery, they like to do it really quickly to get them back as quickly as possible.
yeah, right. So Lynn, Paul, and Richard, where we are in a table makes it totally different. What we would gain from the Europa League. We all want trophies. However, was that trophy worth winning if it meant we got injuries?
Yeah, and I think and could end up not winning the Premier League. Yeah,
Could
I
lose
think it
both.
is a totally
Oh yeah,
different story now, isn't it? Because if we were sitting fifth now, going out of the Europa League would be horrendous. But because we're sitting first, we're not. I'm of the opinion we've guaranteed Champions League.
yeah,
We're 20 points ahead of Spurs. We're 22 points ahead of Newcastle in fifth. That is seven games we'd have to lose. Well, 8 games we'd have to lose between now and the end of the season for Newcastle to pip us to fourth, and that would be some collapse. I don't see us doing that on this season's form. This season's form suggests that's not going to happen.
yeah. No, I look at it to say like you said, if we were say fourth or fifth, then yeah, again we evaluate priorities, don't
Yeah,
we? If we're 15, 16 points behind, say like the leaders, we're kind of we're in a different kind of perspective again, aren't we? We're suddenly saying, well, that is a trophy that we've got to go and win. Yeah, we're still in that Champions League hunt, but look, that is our objective. That's our number one priority because we want a trophy. If we're out of all cups, that is that we're in this. Yeah, it's all a bit eggs in one basket where you suddenly say, right, okay, well, yeah, we're just going to go for the league, but look, it's a real good position to be in. And as I say, if we could have just managed it and just got through how as we did, then great. But it didn't happen, sadly. So there we go. Yeah, it is what it is. Just try and have a last little bit. We're gonna finish up. Yeah, just a little note on that Fulham game. Absolutely madness tonight.
yeah.
Um,
Manager sent
just
off, two players sent off.
I, I look at it and I see Fulham doing really well. They've controlled the game. They're 1-0 up, and then you see a little bit of madness where Willian, who is running around like an absolute madman. I've never seen him run so hard. Never seen him run so fast. You know what I mean? Never done that. And it was just pulling strings. He had a shot just wide, and yeah, blocks the ball on the line. But it's not like I would class as a deliberate handball where someone's sticking their arm right out. But he's got his arm by his side, and all he's doing is leaning into the ball right by the post. He's coming across to kind of cover it. Whether or not his whole body would be blocking the ball anyway, even if his arm's there, I wouldn't class it as in an unnatural position either. I don't think he's moved his arm out to try and push it out further, but the referee's given a penalty through VAR, and then all bedlam um, descended, and yeah, Marco Silva got sent off.
Who was the referee in that match?
Oh God, he was. I think it's Kavanagh.
Oh,
he was the one who refereed. He had a real bad one against us. I can't
Yeah.
remember who he last refereed. Have a look. Fulham, Man United. Yeah, it was Chris Kavanagh. But I know he had a fairly bad game for us recently, and yeah, I don't like to bash referees or have excuses about referees because it isn't great, but that's it. Yeah, he was managed. So he's the referee on the Bournemouth game. So yeah, and you're just suddenly thinking, just yeah, I didn't like it, and he refereed our Leeds game as well. I'm sure there was an issue with that Leeds game as well.
Yeah, it was the
Something happened.
it,
I can't remember.
it was a power cut, and then the time it took to to sort back out, get back out on the
Yeah,
pitch, wasn't it? And
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
probably our worst performance of the season
Yeah,
to
that
date,
was.
that game.
Yeah, but just say just that whole 4 minutes of madness. So Fulham go down to 9 men. They've had their manager sent off. They've been or conceded a penalty, and then yeah, that's it. But oh dear, Mitrovic is in a whole lot of trouble. When we're talking of a 3-game ban
Minimum.
just for a red card for giving the ref a little nudge going forward in the back. He's
Yeah,
he could
that
be
could
looking
be
about
extended, couldn't it?
could be about 5 or 6 games if they see it right. But and certainly I don't know what he also said as well because he was real abusive to him as well by the looks of it. So it could be Christ, it could be potentially a 10-game ban when you suddenly look at it like that, and that's the season done.
Yeah,
And that will really affect Fulham. So
he's a
yeah,
bit of a
wasn't nice to
hothead,
see
isn't he?
because they deserved a lot more from that game. I think, and then to concede like another goal within about 2 minutes of the penalty, just yeah, just it weren't right, or it didn't feel right. I don't think the crime warranted the punishment, and certainly what happened after, because I don't think it was a blatant. You're not Superman on the line blocking the ball with a deliberate handball. I think he's leaning his body into the thing, but his arm is still there. It's not like he's really gone chicken wings and puffed out his arm.
No.
But yeah, you could have given a penalty and maybe say, all right, okay, well, I don't think it's a deliberate one, but maybe say a yellow card or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the law is just.
It's also the interpretation as well, isn't it? I mean, yeah, okay, he stopped a clear goal scoring opportunity, but was there any chance that it wouldn't have got the body would have got it? And
Yeah. Also, yeah. So Lynn said, obviously Kavanagh, he missed. Well, we had 4 or 5 attempts, didn't we, or handball shouts against Bournemouth. Although they
seven
weren't.
in total.
Well, yeah, well, yeah,
7 VAR incidents that
yeah. I looked at them and they couldn't be deliberate. But what was the one that was given? It was the one that was given straight away. It was the wasn't it? It was Liverpool versus the guy had his arm out and then
him on his arm,
and it was like,
and we did one exactly the same a week before against
yeah,
him,
that
which
was it.
wasn't
So
good. And this is what gets frustrating.
Yeah.
It's that consistency.
Yeah. Well, they've clouded it. They've clouded it totally. Handball, no handball. If it hits your hand, then that's it. It's handball. It doesn't matter how cynical it is, how you know what I mean, if or like innocent or whatever. If it hits your arm, it's handball in the box. You're going to have players that are going to really play to it. You're going to have players that are deliberately trying to do it, like Jota. Jota tried to do that at the Emirates with Gabriel, who tried to flick the ball back into his arm, and then yeah, started shouting for penalty. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think we're going to call it a night
Yeah, just
at.
just to as we're wrapping it up.
Yeah,
I
go on.
mean, we've had a really good weekend. Everton, it's getting to, and then the gift on that keeps on giving Tottenham 3-1 up. Allow Walcott to score. Then concede an equaliser, and then
Walcott didn't even celebrate.
yeah, and then
Walcott
you,
didn't even celebrate. Oh,
and then you get Antonio Conte coming out and saying what he did.
oh well, yeah, yeah. You look at that, and yeah, it was again. That was a
They've just imploded.
you. We've all seen some crazy interviews and stuff, but then you suddenly see that actually in the proper kind of like media centres, and you're suddenly thinking, I've never seen that. I've been in the media room at Arsenal and saw Arsene Wenger and Mourinho in their pomp, and you sit there and you watch it and you think, oh, they're really calm. How can they still be calm? But then when you saw that Conte one, you suddenly think he was spitting. If he could spit fire, he probably would have done. If he was like a superhero or like one of those kind of cartoon characters, he'd have flames coming out of his mouth, and he was. Oh my god, he'd lost it. I think if there was ever a chance of that, he's trying to get the sack. He,
Yeah,
he,
that was right.
I think
Reject,
I
please.
think that was. I think it was a final thing that I want out, and I think they've been talking about he wants to go to it, or he wants to go back with his family. He's obviously had the ill health, whatever, and I think it is just that kind of thing where he's fed up of probably having the question marks over him, and he's just let rip. He literally has. There's no one there. I think the players themselves are going to be knocking on the door on Monday and saying, "What's this all about?" And then you've got
Because
Daniel
he
Lee.
didn't name any players. He just said
Well,
he
no,
just
but
said 11 players.
if I'm straight out there and I'm thinking I'm a player, I'm going in there and saying, "What's this all about? You calling me selfish or whatever?" But you look at it like that and you just think it was just so crazy. But you've done the players, now you've pretty much done the board, and you're suddenly saying, "I don't think there's any way around that now." I think it's a foregone
He's
conclusion.
literally challenged them to sack him. He said because you change a manager and nothing's going to change.
Yeah, it's over the summer or it's now. It depends on if they want
Yeah.
to pay some more severance money to another manager. So, Jesus, join the long list of Tottenham managers. Yeah, we've only hit three managers in that time since Wenger started, and I think Tottenham are on 30 now. I think we're near enough.
There are lots, isn't it? It's,
Mental madness as a club. So, oi, it is a great time to be a Gooner. It is a great time to be a Gooner, and look, we're going to have a couple of week break before we hit into April for real big big games coming up. There's
yeah.
some massive ones.
Would
So
you would you take 10 from a possible 12 points?
look, I think Leeds is 100% a 3 point must. I would happily take a draw from Liverpool. As good or bad as they are, I'm sure they'll be fired up for it. But West Ham, I think we've got the edge on them, and as I say, I think in those games recently. So look, that and Southampton, I'm taking 10 points all day. Liverpool be the only one.
Yeah, I'll take a point at Anfield. I'll be at. You give me a point now, I'll take it.
Yeah, and in all honesty, those 4 games get out of the way, and we've only dropped 2 points. We're in a good time again. 6 games left. All depends obviously on Man City. If we see what they've got up until then, yeah, obviously that we it's hard to say now with these cup games. I mean, they've got the 2. Yeah, so it's
They got
Liverpool,
2 Bayerns. They got the FA Cup.
Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, and Brighton would have been, but it's about now been rearranged. So yeah, we'll probably have, if in those 4 games, we'll probably then be 2 games ahead of them. So you look at it like that, it'll be.
If you can put another 6 points on that board,
Get
win
the points
those
on the
2,
board. Get them on.
get those wins, and say to them, right, you now must win those games in hands. You're putting extreme pressure on them.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that this little period is going to be really, really important now. And I'll tell you what, if we go to Anfield and we do go and win,
that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
You're then saying you could go to Etihad and potentially not just say just go there and lose, but a loss wouldn't be half as bad as what potentially could happen if we drop points anywhere else. And yeah, I'd think we'll approach every game like we've always done, and I mean there's no deviance from who we're playing. So yeah, it's I don't know. I'm going to get nervous. I'll get nervous again, and I'll be nervous all the way through the month.
Yeah,
and,
it's going to be nervous right to it's mathematically
question.
done, isn't it?
Just a quick one from Tired. You've made some really good questions tonight. So yeah, thank you very much, fellow. It's appreciated. Do you think Webb can do anything about the professionals running VAR? Surely they must do simulation tests with officials to see what their outcomes are on a regular basis. Yes, they can do a lot about it, but it comes with support. It comes with
improving the refereeing standard, because the refereeing standard is poor, and you're asking those referees to make decisions from a TV screen. So you're still expecting poor referees to make decisions, even with the benefit of a camera.
Yeah, but
you're
getting poor officials being asked to pass it up to other poor officials.
I think there are ways of doing it. Improve the age, improve the number of referees, improve the fitness, get better training in, improve the training, and demand higher standards.
I just don't think the rules help them. The offside, the handballs, they're all very like wish-washy. There's so much grey area that VAR was supposed to have eliminated.
But there is that opportunity now. You're using it in the Champions League. You used it in the World Cup. It's an automated offside system. That works. That takes a burden off the thing, because look at today. How many times were Crystal Palace players offside and we were still running? That could be a hamstring. That could be a serious injury to a player.
I said this to my dad, and I saw the one.
Leg up and if it's offside, it's offside. Put your flag
Or the
up.
one when
Then,
Gabriel was absolutely flying back, and he come back, he slid in to make the tackle. Had the player landed on Gabriel making that challenge, and he goes down, and he stays down, and he's actually injured, then the linesman puts the flag up, and you're suddenly thinking, he's just got injured for absolutely nothing. And this is why I say I find it just ridiculous. You've got to put your flag up anyway. And if you're, as a defender, certain that he's offside and you've seen the flag as well, then it means you can kind of almost let go. But to allow it to kind of just carry on all the way through, it's just silly. You may as well just not bother putting the flag up and let it go to VAR. And then VAR just say, oh, yeah, it's not offside. Carry on. What's the point of it? I don't. You may as well do away with linesmen.
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more ex-professionals go in, because there are certain situations like the handballs where and certain tackles where you being in the playing it, they know if it's simulation, they know whether the player, which way the player would have fallen from contact, and if he's simulating it to get a penalty.
Yeah, I'd like to see the players that have, say, maybe had their kind of careers curtailed by injury and just literally have those ones cut short. So they are young in themselves, because obviously it has been cut short. They've not been able to do it, but they've got the experience of the game. And you're suddenly thinking, let's keep them within that kind of football circle. Let's keep them within the family, and you try and build them. You try and support them and get them through. And if they can offer some advice and they actually get used to kind of doing stuff like that, then great. But you'll always have that kind of ethical kind of thing. Oh, is there any allegiances or whatever? But don't tell me none of these referees support no club, and you're suddenly thinking, well, this is it. It's one of those, and it's just, you know what I mean?
You look at a lot of them ones from Manchester. They all support Salford.
Yeah. It's crazy, but that's it. That's it. Having someone there that understands the game and doing things like as a footballer, as opposed to just reading the rule book and just not really understanding things, would go a long way. I think, but the tidying up of the rules, I think, is key. So yeah, too many grey areas, too many kind of different opinions. There's too many different kind of levels of what are the levels of engagement, from handball to even tackles. In all honesty, you see some absolute shocking tackles come in that don't get punished, and then you see some really silly ones that do get punished.
And I also like. I'll go back to a few years against Chelsea. Mertesacker bringing Diego Costa down. He gets Mertesacker sent off. Now he using normal physics and normal trajectory. The way he fell and rolled wasn't the way he should have had it.
Yeah,
had he been gone down normally, but
there's
had
lots
he
like
gone
that,
down,
yeah. It's the feigning injury, but it's also then the time wasting. And had the
it's
time
also enough. You look at Anana again against us. He coupled clutching his face and down. He did it in the game against Chelsea as well. He got a little hand in the face, and he was down for 4 or 5 minutes clutching.
Yeah.
And it's this feigning injury and
but you're seeing that now
just to get players sent off.
Yeah, well, no, but just to stop an attack, you suddenly see like, say, the other team breaking away on a counter attack, and you go down holding your face to be used. So if VAR's used for, say, something like that, it would then stop that straight up. Just like the time wasting and the going down, and it's nonsense. There should be more done about that. I think just in general, the timekeeping. Do they stop the watch like they do in say like in American sports, and you end up playing the full 45 minutes without injury time, and you just literally have the clock run until it hits 45 minutes, and each time it goes off, he gets stopped. But
Yeah.
obviously, timekeeping will be an interesting one. That would have to
Yeah,
be.
well, it was. I mean, I did it for the Bournemouth game, and there was actually 2 minutes and 7 seconds of stoppages in added time,
Yeah,
and most of that came from Bournemouth's. Uh, we returned the ball to play within 4 to 5 seconds. Bournemouth were taking 7 to 10 seconds on throw-ins and bits and pieces, and then they had the big uh, head the head injury at the start of extra added time as soon as the board went up, uh, and that was a minute and something.
yeah, but no, it's all good, and yeah, I don't think we can solve VAR
No,
at this minute. But look, we're happy. We've got another 3 points on the board.
and we're still top
We're
of the
top
league.
of the league, and Tottenham have imploded again. And look, one word for the week. If you're going to use it one time in the office to your Spurs friends, if you have Spurs friends, I'm sure there's friends somewhere. A
I've
little
got
Spursy.
sister-in-law and brother-in-law are
Use,
Spurs fans.
use the word Spursy fairly frequently until the next show. And yeah, have a good little break. Enjoy the interlull, and yeah, let's get ready for Leeds on the 1st of April, April Fool's Day.
Or at least it's not an early kickoff.
Well, yeah. Well, is that a fool? I don't know. Are they just going to trick us? I know. Oh dear. It seems a long way away, but it's going to come around very quick. So hopefully, some much needed rest for.
I think they give us John Moss.
Can't give us anything worse, but yeah, I'm hoping this will be quite good for us just to get a little breather and just reset again, and just maybe just have just come away. Remember the last one? I think we've done all right once we come back off international. So
Yeah,
look, if we have
that's because we had a behind closed doors friendly.
well, yeah, it just keep them ticking around. But let's say the main thing is just getting everyone fit and healthy, and making sure that we do go into this period now. Talking this next 6-7 games of everyone back, everyone purring, and I'm sure there will be a behind closed doors before for those kind of like Smith Rose and all sorts, because
And Jesus and all those that aren't.
I've heard that. Well, actually, saying that Smith Rowe's been called up for the under-21s, haven't they? So
yeah, so
he'd be gone anyway.
It will be the Jesuses, the Kivials, and the ones that aren't going away. Ben White, which is it's shambolic, but
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what who the three right backs they said that were in front of Ben White.
Trippier, Walker, and Reece James. Reece James, I agree with, but how can you say?
I'll just say versatility over anything.
Yeah. How can you say Kieran Trippier? And I understand Kieran Trippier in the sense that he offers a set piece delivery that is probably, but Ben White's added assists and he's got another assist today. He's added decent delivery into the box, and he's better than Dyer as well. So I mean, how he hasn't even considered for a centre back slot either. Something's
happened, and yeah, we'll never be savvy to what's happened, and it's quite clear that yeah, it's. I
While
don't think
Southgate's in charge,
I
he's got
don't think it's I don't think it's for football related. It's personality driven, and yeah, look, that would have been a good thing for Walker to have been kept out of that because of from what he's done or whatever in the media. Shouldn't be doing it or whatever he's done. Indecent exposure or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? But we're not really savvy to it all. But look, I don't think he's set the world alight this season as a player. But again,
you've got
himself in a boot.
right back who's in the best team, playing for the best team in the league. And you're picking other right backs
Yeah,
ahead of him. I mean, Reece James, I can understand when he's fully fit. He's a decent. He's a decent. He's got to be probably the best or one of the best in the country. But you can't say Kyle Walker's better than Ben White on form at the moment, or Kieran
no.
Trippier better on form than White at the moment.
I think that's why he's lost his way a little bit. Southgate, where he come out and said it was always on merit, and it's clear that he's now going on favourites or players he can trust.
And you watch Pickford will play both games.
Yeah, which is
He's not going. He's not going to pick Pope or or Ramsdale, and both of those are top of a Golden Glove table. So,
yeah,
so they're joint top. So I wouldn't be disappointed if Pope got ahead of Ramsdale, but you've got to give them chances. Pickford's in a relegation team. He's not had the best season by his standards either. Give somebody else a chance to because
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm not really excited for England.
no, neither am
I,
I. I probably won't watch
I've
them.
had the World Cup. I don't really care about this now. I think we've had enough. I don't
I
believe.
couldn't even see the point of this international
I
break to
just,
be.
I just see why can't they just give you a 4 to 6 week period every year for internationals? You have even if you do it in say like that like a mid season break where you do it like that. You go away with your internationals. You come back, then you play uninterrupted club football as opposed to going off. Just like the start of the season, you come play 1, 2 games, you go off for a break, come back, and then yeah, you go back again in October, you play another lot, and then it just seems like so stop start all the time, and you just think, I just want domestic football. I don't really want to see players keep going here, there, and everywhere. Take it, use it as a good experience for players because that means they're all part of that group for X amount of time, and they develop that kind of chemistry playing together because they're around each other for a little bit more of a expanded kind of time frame, and I'm sure you'd get better results and certainly I think a better all round competition because you will have teams that will look better equipped to play than some do actually at this minute because yeah they don't get a lot of time together. Um,
No.
these kind of things, and then to chuck in a well-oiled kind of display. Yeah, I don't know. It's all crazy. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Maybe send a tweet to Ramsdale. Give Kane a taxi fare to Manchester.
I couldn't think of anything worse. I hope he goes to. I hope he goes abroad.
I don't see him going abroad. I think
No, he probably
I
won't.
think
But
United will probably pay over the odds to get him.
they'd pay over the odds, but I'd probably hate him even more. I don't know. Just the whole Man United. I just can't
Oh,
stand.
no, there's not meant much about
Sorry, Leo,
United.
in the group if you're watching. Yeah, I have a I have a love hate relationship with Man United, but yeah, no, to see Harry Kane playing for Man United would it'd probably make me even more sick. And yeah, not great. But no, yeah, Common Arsenal, Leeds United, 1st of April, 3 points.
Let's do what we did at the end of last season and beat them 4-0.
Yeah, well, let's push the goal difference up, and yeah, let's get them going, and yeah, hopefully City will start worrying about us a bit more, because yeah, we need to stop their juggernaut. But thank you everyone for logging in, watching, and commenting in the live chat. Some really good views. Sorry I couldn't read every single one, but it's really good to have the interaction. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your mothering Sundays, and yeah, get some rest and have a good working week. Yeah, this is the Big Sunday Show. Richard, thank you for coming on. Really good.
Pleasure as always, mate.
And as I say, please drop us a like on Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. Really good. And yeah, join us for some more shows coming up, because yeah, I'm going to start doing some more bits as we go through the season. But it's coming close now. It's coming close. 10 to go. See you later, Gooners.